I'm gonna start recording, and then you guys can get going.
Okay.
Perfect.
I will.
Recording in progress.
Okay, good.
Thank you. We'll call to order this July 20th meeting of the Active Grimsby Advisory Committee. I guess I need that disclosure of any the pecuniary financial interest. Being none, that's good. Adoption of the agenda. Everyone okay with that? Okay. Thank you. Got a move from Bruce and a second from Philip. Thank you. Thank you. We'll go right through the items of the business. It's a carry forward from our last agenda. Nothing has changed there. And most of these items are just there because they're not completed, and we just don't want to lose sight of them. Safety measures, the soft infrastructure update. I think last time when we talked to Michael, I think the idea was these things will stay in the hopper, and when you're dealing with Niagara on regional related issues, this information will be available, and it's available as the town moves through its roads infrastructure projects. Any feedback or any questions, comments, input?
So yeah, through you, Chair. So I had reached out to the region regarding some of the inquiries that were made. I forwarded them that list of questions that we had, and I had also requested that they join us for a committee meeting. So I did receive confirmation that they will be, someone will be joining us in our final meeting this year in September.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so for that, at that point there, we will reach out to prepare some questions to provide to them, so right. They can so that they're aware of what we've been talking about, and they can prepare some answers for us, as well as provide a presentation, a little bit of a presentation on some of the things they have planned.
So what's a good way for us to get questions, and just individually email you? And
it would be best if the group put all their questions together and then have just one person send them in to us, and then we can forward them on.
Okay, I guess that should be me. So I guess to everyone here, any specific questions, if you wouldn't mind sending to me, and then I'll just put a list together and get it to you. I guess well in advance of that meeting. In fairness, of what, at least a couple of weeks. If we said we'd have something ready for last week of August, does that give you plenty of time?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Everybody okay? Okay. Thank you, Bruce Mackenzie.
I think Philip was ahead of me there. Sure.
Philip, are you first? Okay, I saw two hands.
It doesn't matter. For you, Chair Paul. Michael, after our meeting 2 months ago when we met, I saw some of the soft traffic go up almost instantly. I noticed that there was one on the corner of North Service Road and Olive, and it came down, I believe, July 1st. My understanding when we last spoke was they were going to be there till the end of the year. Obviously, something has changed. Could you just give me an update there, and any reports that have come in from any of the community as well?
Sure, through you, Chair. That's actually, I was going to touch on that a little bit later. It was the last item on the agenda, so maybe I'll save that till the end, and I can speak to that specific location as well as give an update on that pilot.
Great. You okay with that, Phil? Good. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Mike. Bruce Mackenzie.
Thanks, Chair Paul. Two things. Marvin mentioned, or Michael, and I apologize if I made a mistake here, mentioned about the region coming and presenting to us at the last meeting. The Green Committee received notice from the town clerk that the last meeting of the Green Committee would be August 4th, because the last meeting of Town Council is September 6th. and all minutes must be in prior to September 6th for the last meeting of council. So I think the last meeting of this committee would be in August if the same rule is applied. So I'll bring that. I bring that to your attention. And if there is an invite out to the region, hopefully staff can get a determination of when the last meeting is and make the adjustments as required. The other thing I'd like to mention, whether in terms of soft infrastructure, and this also overlaps a little bit with the trail master plan. I have the opportunity of visiting the city of St. Thomas from time to time. And it has a population of 40,000, not much different than Grimsby. And the city of St. Thomas, from my observations, has the best trail system within the municipality and use of soft infrastructure. Previously, I had sent the Trails Master Plan to the City of St. Thomas to Sarah Sweeney. I unfortunately can't find it anymore in my files. Sarah might, but I'm sure the City of St. Thomas would be glad to share it. They shared it with me, a lowly citizen. So I just mentioned that if as the city moves, as the town of Grimsby moves along with their Trails Master Plan, and questions of soft infrastructure or infrastructure to for bicyclists and pedestrians. I think there's some wonderful examples there that come in one package. Thanks, Chair Paul.
Thank you. Anything from Marvin or Mike or anyone staff about the timing of the last meeting? Yeah, I was thinking September now.
Yeah.
It's August.
No, Paul, that's a great question. So, and it's funny, just before the meeting, I just double checked my emails, and the records I had was the last committee meetings would be in September. But to Bruce's point, I will get that confirmed,
Okay.
just so we all know. Whether the last meeting will be August or the last meeting will be September. So that the last information I received, it would be September, but maybe things have changed. So I'll get that confirmed, and I can send that out to you folks. I'll send it through you, Paul, and just to share, just so we all know.
Yeah, that's great. And with that said, maybe as your questions come to mind for the region, maybe send them out with the idea it might be an August meeting, and then if we're early, then that's just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Safety measures, disc golf. Anything from Parks and Rec on that?
Through Paul, just Sarah and or a representative from Parks wasn't able to make it tonight, but I did reach out to get a little bit of information to share with the group. So I'll just read what they provided me. And I know last meeting, I think we talked a little bit about Centennial Park and whether that would be a fit or not. So what they've mentioned is that staff currently do not feel that Centennial Park location is suitable for the course. Subsequent visiting and testing of the course led to concerns about the volume of users in the park and potential or likely conflicts. So the note goes on to say, a neutral burial ground is located in Centennial Park, and as part of the Grimsby 100, Parks and Rec are working with various stakeholders to increase the awareness and education of the site. So therefore, before proceeding with improvements, we need to understand further potential impacts of both the existing and proposed park features. So basically, there's a lot of things to consider are on the table to bring in the disc golf. So staff are exploring the idea of an alternative location, which might lead to this type of activity, be a better fit essentially. So and lower risk to the users of the park. So I guess the long and the short of it is, I don't think Centennial Park will work. But staff are working on other alternatives so that we can hopefully make this happen.
Okay, so we'll leave it on the list. And
Yeah.
Any questions on that for Marvin or back into the system from anyone? Jimmy?
Do they list this alternative location that they're exploring? I'm assuming it's southward, but
Yeah, I don't have that information with me, but they're again happy to reach out to get that information back to you, Jimmy. And I suspect, yeah, there's certainly some other parks that they're looking at, or another park. Yeah, I just don't know which one.
Okay. Thank you. Bike friendly. I don't think anything was going to happen till the fall, and I don't know where that's going to take you guys who are working on it as we get into election time. I don't know what your access will be to people you might need in staff. So any questions or concerns on that one? I guess that's Jimmy and Dave. Dave?
Well, I would just say that, I was surprised because I thought we'd kind of, that we were moving ahead with the disc golf course. So it's kind of a little bit disappointing, but and I'm not sure what's transpired there, but hopefully we can make that happen, because it seems like a fairly cost-effective way to get people outdoors. And, I was kind of excited about the concept, but anyways, that's my feelings on it.
Okay. And I'm going to come back at you on bike friendly too, Dave. Anything going on there?
I don't think so. I think it's a little bit unfortunate, the timing, because last I heard the next opportunity we would have to file the paperwork for the bike friendly community was this fall. I guess with the election going on, that's going to be a little bit difficult. But I was waiting for Marvin to send me some answers to some engineering questions so I could populate that section of the report, because I think we agreed that we would go ahead with doing what we could with the paperwork in the meantime, so that we would be in a position to put that in whenever we had an opportunity.
Thank you. Mike, Mike.
Yeah, thanks through you, Chair. Just to follow up with that from staff, and we are working through those questions that you sent. I've got some outstanding items that I need input from our planning staff as well. So once we finalize that, we can send it back to you.
That would be great. Thanks, Mike.
During the election, how shut down does the staff get? I mean, are people still available to work on some of these projects, even though things seem to shut down over the fall from the election?
Yeah. No, I think at the staff level, I think it'll be business as usual. It's just like, I think maybe you or one of the other members mentioned, getting any decision at the council level won't be possible.
No.
But yeah, certainly, questions like Michael referred to, getting answers to, reaching out to staff internally to get answers, that should be no issues at all. But yeah, at the council level, and I suspect at the clerk level, they're going to be quite busy.
Because I'm thinking on something like this, the bike friendly. Ultimately, it's the town making the application. I mean, our committee members can pull together what they can, but ultimately, somebody on staff, I guess, has to be the person to run with it. Is that fair to say? Because it's a town application as opposed to not a committee application. So.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Paul, are we going to need, and we can look into that, council, I guess, blessing to move forward with that application? I maybe that's something we'll have to look at.
Yeah, and anybody have any thought? I don't know. I mean, when it was there before, and I think the town decided it would like to go after it. That wasn't necessarily from this committee. Jimmy?
Yeah, my memory is not perfect here. I had the vague sense that Sarah could essentially be like the primary contact with the people, with the bike-friendly people.
Right.
So when our application is prepared, she's going to put the final stamp on it, and I think she'll just be able to submit it. Don't quote me on that. That was just like the sense I had when we were planning about it in the discussion. Like, I don't think a council has to sign off on that or something.
No, that I would have agreed with, that was my take, because it was just reapplying for something we already had, and so it's not a new item. But anyway, I guess we should know that.
We can get that confirmed.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that Sarah submitted the last application. So I believe we were trying to provide support to her because she's busy in terms of gathering all the inputs for the application. But I believe it would be her that would, at least the last time around, she submitted the application.
Okay, thank you. We're probably going in that's the right direction, but we should confirm it all. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on bike friendly? Good. The neighborhood walks, again, nothing back from Parks and Rec, so we're in limbo on whether that even moves ahead. And I don't know, Bruce, are you with Bruce? He disappeared on the screen. Bruce, you had offered to do several walks, and I don't think you've heard back from Parks and Rec on that either, have you?
No, I haven't, and I've sent another communication parallel to yours.
Yeah.
About this. I believe I would discuss that at the last Green Committee.
Okay.
What I am planning to do, should the town not be interested or promote it, do it on my own in the late fall and winter.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
But before I pull any triggers, Paul,
Yeah.
I'll be in touch with you.
Okay. Yeah, because
the reason I say that is I've done it before,
okay.
and it worked. So there's no reason not to do it again.
I guess the challenge is how to communicate get it out there. But anyway, if you've done that, then great. That was the thought, that the town would communicate it. And,
well, that's what I was hoping for, and the only downfall to that is that their captionment might be too big, but it has to be a registered thing. I can only handle so many people at a time. I just stand out in front of the TD Bank with the sandwich board on. First 20 people that come up, pick me in the shin, sign them up.
You got them.
I like that approach.
Yeah, then I'm in control, Paul.
Well, that's option one.
Yeah.
We got one option. Great. Well, because it seemed too good an offer to miss, and especially in this particular year, it just seemed to fit with the whole idea of 100-year walks, get to know parts of this town. So good. Thank you for keeping that one on the books.
Yeah, and between the Garden Club and the Historical Society, it won't, and a couple of other groups, it won't be hard to find interested people. But I would like to ultimately find people who are in those groups now, and bring in new faces to sort of introduce them to different aspects of Grimsby.
That's where I saw initially the new people in the West End say that are new to this whole community. That was a real opportunity to see something that's old Grimsby. Yeah.
Yes. Who are you referring to as old, Paul?
The whole town, that 100-year-old thing.
Oh, okay.
Not us. Not us. Very good. Okay, well then that's still on the books. That's great. And if that can get fed back to Parks and Rec, that we would like them to run with this, but
yeah, and I was going to mention, Paul, what I'll do is I'll take that back to Sarah,
thank you.
Because I know she was advancing this this item, and I just don't know exactly where she was at with it, but I know it was certainly of interest to her, so I'll find out where maybe where she or her staff are at with it.
Okay. Yeah, I did find there was a reference in the, I'll just go, this is the April 20th meeting, but there was an item there that staff have received a small grant through participation to deliver some community walk events during the month of June. This grant could be used towards this initiative. Staff will be reaching out to the committee to further explore possibilities. And we haven't, that didn't go anywhere else. And I don't know that there were any other walks put in place. So that item still hangs out there. That was from the April 20th minutes.
Okay, okay, yeah, we should be able to get an update then on that for the community. Yeah.
Great. Vision Zero, it was just to observe that we got back in the saddle on that one, and that was good. And I don't know where what other initiatives. I'm thinking some of the traffic calming, do they in a sense tie in? We will get when we get to traffic calming. That was kind of some of the things that would fall out of Vision Zero. I think that was done by the town, not necessarily in the name of this Vision Zero, but it's that type of initiative that we were looking forward to. So anything you've heard about Vision Zero? It just we're a player now.
Yeah, I don't know, Michael. Is there any updates that you've heard on?
No, nothing official yet. But when that's something the region should be able to touch on when they join us.
Oh, great.
They should be able to let us know what's kind of coming down the pipe.
Thank you. Anything else on that? Vision Zero. Okay. Downtown Reimagined. We'll just keep that on the agenda. Is there anything new there? I see nothing.
Yeah. Do you have anything, Michael? I was just gonna maybe just lead off quickly. I'll turn it over to Michael. That the town is moving that project forward. I think we're getting close to the point of having some conceptual plans together, and hopefully in not too long we'll be able to share those with the community. Maybe Michael can speak a little bit more to it. He's been a little bit more involved.
Yeah, they're continuing on. They're in the next phase of the project. They did some events recently where they set up some booths out in the downtown area, and they were starting to collect some resident feedback. But like Marvin said, when it comes to actual concepts and some of the ideas that have been thought up of, those should be coming out shortly. And at that point there, everybody will be able to kind of have a look and, give their input on what they like, what they don't like.
Yeah. Okay. Honest feedback.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else from anyone on that? Okay, thank you. That's great. Master plan, the recreation master plan. When we talked last, it was sort of held up a little bit after Rob Bloom's presentation on the staff was asked to go back and look at the possibilities of using the rail line. Anything that any of you know on that one?
Yeah, so that one, Paul. The update I got on that is probably not much more than what you said, but the project's been expanded from the original scope to include the rail trail concept that was presented during the June council meeting. So the idea is to explore how the trail could potentially fit into the network. Specifically, work is being done with the consultants to further look at the feasibility and specific particulars of the trail towards continuing discussions with CN. So I think it's I guess long and short of it is we want to take a look at being able to utilize the CN I guess corridor for trail use,
right?
Which I think it's worthwhile to maybe to take a step back if that's going to be a positive outcome of this. So yeah, so that's where it's at. So not much more, I guess, than last time, but they are, I guess, the plan is moving forward with an expanded scope.
Now, and that line was mentioned in the original look, but kind of discounted, I guess. And then so after Rob made his pitch, there was a thought, well, let's see if we can go back and push it a little harder. Is that kind of the way that?
I suspect so, and I wasn't directly involved myself, but I think it was probably always on the radar, but I think now it's maybe moved a little bit more front and center to become more of a priority. So
I saw that meeting, but the other item, nothing has changed to the other items, at least in the present. I've sort of gone through that a few times, and there were a lot of small internal trails, but it was interesting to know how serious they were looking at some of the road allowances on the top above Ridge Road. Looks like there was some real walking route opportunities up there, but so I guess that's all. That'll come out later.
Yeah. No, I think that's still it's still forthcoming. So
good. Bruce, yeah, I see Bruce's hand.
Yes, thanks, Chair Paul. Question through you to staff. With possible utility routes, I'm thinking of the corridor of the South Service Road from the fire station to, I guess, Bartlett. Seems to be a wide area of land. You've got Service Road, you've got, I think, a hydro corridor, and you've got a railway corridor in there. And other than that, it doesn't seem to be a lot of interference with north-south roads and that. So my first question is, does the South Service Road, a town road in that location? Between the fire hall and Bartlett, is that the South Service Road there? Is that town or region?
Region versus town, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's regional. The South Service Road is regional.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope that the consultants are involved with that, involving them, and then they're also with that corridor, because it's a fairly long one. There's the hydro corridor, I think, that parallels the road and the train tracks. Does anybody know whether Hydro has, or OPG or Hydro One has been involved in discussions with the Trails Master Plan?
A great question, Bruce. I don't know the answer, but we can get an answer for you. I'd have to reach out to Sarah and her team to get an answer on that one. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
But the railroad in that area that Bruce mentioned, that's part of the corridor that Rob was taught, Rob Bloom, in his presentation, isn't it? So that's under the discussion with the railroad people. Is that fair?
Yeah, and I to be honest, I don't know the exact scope and what the conversations with CN have been. But you know, certainly I don't see why we can't get a better update for the committee for the next meeting, just so we can kind of check off some of these boxes. Yeah.
We're giving you boxes.
Yeah, well, yeah. I apologize. I can't give you more, but yeah, I wasn't too involved in that, and unfortunately, yeah, we weren't able to pull in the Parks and Rec team tonight.
Jimmy, go ahead.
Yeah, so Bruce, because you mentioned that easement, I believe there was like a pipeline that they pulled up there. Again, I don't remember perfectly, but in Rob Blum's proposal, he has an affordance for use of that land if possible. Now, I know that like if his perfect dream were actualized, the entire trail would be on the south side of the tracks, because that's going to connect to the majority of of key destinations in the town. So, you know, if everything worked out perfectly, it would just be continuous all along the south side of the tracks, minimizing the amount of times that the rail has to switch between north and south. But he's also studied the fact that, like you say, there's a lot of hydro corridor possibility, and also between Bartlett and I don't know, somewhere like Maple or Ontario, as you say, there's like a wide dirt area that is currently going unused.
Yes.
Thank you. Good. We okay there for now? Thank you. That brings us back to the traffic calming. Mike, I guess that's.
Sorry, can I just add one more thing?
Oh yeah.
Just for the record, I'm so thrilled that that Rob did that proposal, that's on the table now. I was personally very disappointed to see it get such like a hand gesture, like a mere mention in the Trails Master Plan document. And yeah, I think that it's key for the establishment of a good multi-use trail infrastructure in Grimsby, and we should kind of like do everything we can to try and realize that plan, and we'll just see everything else flourish from that. As Rob likes to say, it's the spine which every single rib can connect to.
Nice. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Traffic calming. I guess that's Mike's court. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. So I'll start by addressing Philip's question earlier. So the signs that we had out on Olive Street at the intersection of Olive and North Service Road, our staff took them down because they were damaged. So we have to order new signs and put them back out. But the idea was to have them out there basically until winter. As for the other installations we have, everything's still going on. We've had some interesting occurrences so far. We've had to replace a number of the signs already. So we're continuing on trying to see if we can avoid having to replace as many as we have already, but everything seems to be going fairly well. We've received some good feedback, but we've also received some negative feedback. So it'll be interesting when we actually go out to the public and kind of gather some more comment where things kind of line up. But so far, everything's been going fairly smoothly. I'm not sure if everybody's had a chance to have a look at them, but from what I understand, and people seem to generally like them and feel that they are working. So this could be, it's been fairly positive experience so far.
Bruce?
I applaud the initiative. I hope the town will take an active marketing media role in promoting them, but also explaining to the public why they're there. And there's two aspects to the public that I think we all look at. One is the drivers, and the other ones are the non-drivers. And so if there's negative comments, I bet you they're coming from drivers. And that's all. Thank you. Ariel.
Yes, through you, Chair Paul. Michael, from what I have seen when I've been out and about, it seems to be working. The drivers are slowing down. I don't know if everybody else is noticing that. I am noticing that. But to pick up what Bruce was saying is I'd be very curious to find out what kind of negative feedback that you have been getting.
Sure. So through you, Chair. I'd say majority of it has been some residents who are unhappy that it's not speed humps. So I don't know necessarily that they have a problem with it so much as it's just might not be what they were expecting. But as I tried to state, this is just a pilot. So the locations that we selected were not selected because there's necessarily a problem. They're there. We selected them because they were locations where we felt we could best achieve or we could best observe the efficacy of these devices, right? So, for example, Roberts Road, Long Straight, road. You can see from one end to the other. The potential for someone to speed down there is higher than it would be if it was say a cul-de-sac, right? So, that's kind of been most of it. Some other people, it's just been, they just are not interested in them, so they voiced their opinion that way. But we have received, a fair amount of positive feedback, particularly in the Winston Road neighborhood. They seem to like them over there. So, yeah, overall positive.
Yeah. I was on the one on Kerman today. I think I noticed a few weeks ago somebody might have pranged one of them up or moved them, but it was back in place today. And it absolutely makes you focus on the road and slow down. I think they're tremendously effective. And if folks, as Bruce was saying on the communication, I mean, the alternative is to run around, catch everybody speeding and find them. And this is a more civilized, decent way to try and not just bring that big hammer out there. And if people could see that, maybe they'd respect the initiative a little bit more, because the other one is, catch them and find them. And that creates a whole other issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're great.
Yeah, and we'll, the nice thing about this project is we're able to kind of see what works and what doesn't, and in terms of placement and the types of roads that we put them on, and if it's something that we choose to move forward with, how we can incorporate them in different areas, such as rural roads or maybe more neighborhood roads, right?
Right. Great. Well, it's only just begun, hasn't it? That's only, what, a couple of months now, I guess. When did you first put them in? Yeah.
So they were first installed in May. Yeah.
Okay.
May and June was when they started going in. So yeah, we've had a good few months of them now. So, and like I said, they'll be there till the fall, before we start winter maintenance. So.
Are they all in place, or are there any additional locations that you're still working on that?
No, this is all that we're doing for now. And then once it's done, we'll be able to kind of evaluate and then make a decision as to what we do for the next year.
Great, thank you, Bruce. Yes. Yep.
Yes, thanks, Chair Paul. Through you to Michael. Michael, this spring I've noticed a number of other municipalities start these kind of initiatives, and I hope they're all successful with yours. Is through the Association of Municipalities or engineering groups, is there a way for the professionals who are doing this to communicate with each other, to share their highlights or downfalls across Ontario?
Yeah, so through you, Paul, there is. We are members of road safety groups, so we do speak regularly with representatives from the other municipalities who are doing it. So that's kind of why this type of treatment is fairly popular nowadays, is because word of mouth. All the municipalities have been sharing their experiences and the different types of equipment that they're trying out. So that happens on the regular, and we're right in the conversation when it comes to all these different road safety initiatives. So
thank you very much.
Okay. Any more questions? We're at the end of the meeting. Anything else from anyone?
Maybe since they nuked our disc golf course, they can turn the money into more traffic calming ballots. I'm joking.
Just
Yeah,
gonna get it.
Sorry.
You get it in another place, I hope, Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to add too, Paul. Like, I don't think it's a dead issue. It's just where it'll land, I think, is really what's not determined yet. But I think it's definitely something that's a priority. It's just where the best spot is for it. So
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't really know what's happening for the centennial celebration, but if it were a matter of deferring the installation, like I'd be happy to swallow that, and keep it in Centennial Park. If it was like, well, we're just going to have a lot of activity there for a time period, fine. Like we can wait to install it afterwards, as opposed to just scrap the pre-existing plan.
Yeah. So I think I'd love to reach out to Sarah, and she's more involved in this and intimate with the requirements. So I'll maybe reach out to her and see if she can provide an update, if not before, at the next meeting.
I had one
Sorry,
question, Paul. I saw there was an email went out. There was they were looking for representatives to show up at the farmers market. I was wondering if that took place and if there was any feedback from that.
Actually, that was a bit of a bummer as well. Yeah, I said I'd be over there, and I went there, and there was nothing there. So somehow it got canceled, but I wasn't informed, so it didn't happen.
Okay,
thanks. I got to go to the market though. But anyway, yeah, I guess she didn't get a great response, and somewhere in the system that didn't get back to those who were going to go. But at any rate, so we still have the reflector band someday to give out somewhere, sometime. I think there's about 300 of them, Sarah said.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. Any more, Mike? I see your hand up there, Mike.
Yeah. I just wanted to add. I'm not sure if anyone has gone by yet, but the pickleball courts are now completed out on Lake Street. I'm not sure if anyone's had a chance to go check those out yet, but we just had the ribbon cutting the other day.
Where on Lake are they? Where on Lake are they?
It's beside the dog park.
Oh, okay, right. I'll have to check that out then. Yeah, I bike around there from time to time, so that's good. I imagine you're getting a real use of those. That game seems to have taken off.
Very, very popular sport right now.
That's good. Philip, yep.
Yes, through you, Chair Paul, to Michael. Yes, regarding the pickleball courts, yeah, I've seen it. It's very, very busy. Any negative feedback, like they're getting a neighbor on the lake?
Not that I'm aware of.
Good. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that we're going to have that type of problem in Grimsby.
Fantastic.
Marvin.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I just wanted to share a couple of items that I guess we would normally put under new business that I received from Parks and Rec to pass along. The one is that the Casablanca Waterfront Park design is now complete. We have a request for tender out right now. So basically that process, we're looking for obviously qualified contractors that can actually come in and build this thing for us. So that's a process that'll take a bit of time, but so the next step is to receive those proposals from the contractors, review them, score them, and then we can select one and move forward with it. So that's a pretty exciting project. It'll be a nice project for the town, and it'll take a bit of time to get to completion, but at least it's moving forward. So I wanted to share that. And the other item, maybe it's more of for your information. It's from Olivia. She mentioned that the Grimsby Green Committee acknowledgement awards are now live, and they were asking for committee members to share and circulate the awards to encourage participation. So I think what I'll do is there's a link, and what I can do is make sure that's added to the minutes of this meeting so that everybody has it.
Thank you. Great.
Yeah.
Bruce? Oh.
Yes, thanks, Chair Paul. Through you to Marvin. Marvin, this has to do with the waterfront park plan. And help me with the name of the road that runs between the the residences and the park.
Plus Polonaise.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. I think it's Place Polonaise. Yeah, I believe that's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
Well, it was their discussion as part of the planning as to whether to make that road one way.
Yeah, maybe I'll defer to Michael on that one, because I think that there was discussions from probably from its infancy on what should be done with that. Should it be, private, public? Should it be parking, no parking, in one way? So I don't. Do you have any background on that one, Michael, that you can share?
So I know that there's been conversation about some changes to the road, mainly to try because they wanted to get some more parking in the area. So converting it to one way would provide some extra space to install some new parking stalls. However, those conversations, to my knowledge, haven't moved forward as far as it being included in the works with the waterfront. I don't believe there's been any talk about Place Polonaise. It's all kind of been restricted to the parkland.
Thank you, Michael. So that leads me to my next question. Who do we talk to about changing the purpose of Place Polonaise Road? Because that road, as the committee members may know, serves no traffic function because there's no driveways coming off it. And making it one way, as you say, could add more parking spots. I think it would make the road safer, because then at least you would only have distracted drivers going in the same direction. And if it's not part of the park design, I would like to know how myself, maybe others, who to communicate within the town to have a more dialogue about this road. Because I think that road myself shouldn't have been there in the first place, and it removes very valuable park space. So that's so I look forward to hearing how we can get that dialogue going. And just before you answer that, is that when that park construction is completed, I think that waterfront trail is going to become much more highly used, and a bicycle lane along that road may very well be greatly appreciated, and having in the road as a one-way road would certainly make a bike lane easier. So thank you.
So maybe I'll just start and then hand it over to Michael to fill in the blanks. But I think as far as the conversation on one way and parking and so on, I think the public are I think you're talking to the right people, Public Works folks here at Grimsby. And I'll hand it over to Michael, but I did want to share, because it did remind me of we do have a current request for proposal out now for a parking study, both downtown and in the West End. And I think that it'll certainly be able to speak to is more parking required in that area, not only now but when the park is finished, and then that could lead to the next conversation. Well, if there is more parking required, where are we going to get that parking, and is it Place Polonaise, and then what does that look like? So but maybe I'll just let Michael comment on the parking study, and if there's any questions surrounding that. And then I don't know that doesn't really answer your question on, can we make it one way? I don't think that's on the table, as Michael said right now. Certainly is not part of the park, but we are going to be looking at both parking And maybe Michael can add about the piece about our transportation master plan, which will speak to bicycle paths and laneways along our transportation corridor. So anyway, I'll hand it over to Michael. He's more involved in that part of it. So
sure. Thanks, Marvin. So in terms of making Place Polonaise one way, unfortunately, I wasn't with the town when this was being planned and constructed, so I'm not sure what the conversations were with regards to having it as a 2-lane road. In terms of getting it to a one-way, you'd have to, you could put that request in with Public Works, and then we would have to, we'd have to review it to see if it's justifiable to go that route. I don't know that just off the top of my head, I don't know that it's something that we'd be really interested at this point now, but we are going to be doing like Marvin said, we are doing a parking study, which is going to be completed for the West End. And that from that study, we're hoping to get any sort of recommendations on additional capacity for parking if required, and some guidance as to how to best manage the parking situation in the area, which could be done through more enforcement, specific restrictions, or increasing parking areas, or building new parking areas. And then the other point about bicycle lanes. So yes, we are going to be completing our transportation master plan. That's part of that. The cycling network will be looked at. The waterfront trail in that area is meant for bicycles and pedestrians. So there really wouldn't be a need to put a bicycle lane on the street, because we've already provided that multi-use path across the entire waterfront and down Winston Road. But we will be looking at how we can further connect that to the east and to the west.
Thank you, Michael and Marvin. And I'm looking forward to the transportation master plan coming out, because I think this kind of review would allow the citizens to bring up these kind of subjects. And you mentioned the original discussions about that road as to why it was one way, 2-way, or whatever. Whenever those discussions took place and who they took place with, they took place before the community was built and before this park master plan was put into place. And I think that it's short-sighted that the park master plan would go ahead without dealing with that important question about that road and how it's used, because it travels right along that park where it's almost entire, well, for more than half. So I am not disappointed with you, but with the process, that it wouldn't be a part of that master plan and how people use it. And the last time I rode my bicycle along the waterfront trail, 2 comments I heard. While you're here, you should be on the road. And that was mirrored by the next person I pedaled by. So as I say, the transportation master plan is welcome, because I think there's alternatives to what's there now. And I hope that the parking study will also be open for public input. Thank you.
Are we okay there? Yeah, that section, that wide trail, that multi-use, that is a bit of a problem when bikes don't stick to left or right side and they're mixed in with people anyway. So you might end up needing to put a lane on that multi-use to show where bikes are supposed to go, if they'll honor that. But yeah, it gets pretty wild down there on a busy day with bikes and people. Yeah, so could be some safety issues on that ultimately. Anything else, Bruce? Oh, lost Bruce.
No, I'm
There you
fine. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Okay. Nothing else? I think we're good. So just to confirm, next meeting, August 17th was the August date, and September 21 was the September date. And Marvin, you'll let us know which one, if there's not going to be a September, then I guess we go ahead with August will be our final date. And then I guess the issue back to Mike is, can the region still come to that meeting if they're geared up for a September meeting? So we have a few things to learn there, I guess.
Yeah, we'll try to get an answer on that one right away.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that, then I would recommend if you could start compiling some questions right away, and
Right.
then that way, if it happens to be the August meeting and they can come, we should try to get them some information as soon as possible.
Everybody okay with that? Yeah, as best we can. Thank you. There being nothing else, I guess our meeting is adjourned. See you next time.
Sounds good. Take care.
Thank you.
See you later, everybody.
Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.
Record